Hey, oh your dad, homie. I don't give a fuck. I'm talking about all of them.
Talking about.
You
What are you
and
talking
your
about?
dad.
6ix9ine's girl is gone, taken out cold, and the streets can't stop buzzing about it. New footage just dropped, showing him right before everything went down. And people are saying his own mouth may have sparked the hit that ended in blood. August 17, 2025, turned into a nightmare that froze the hip-hop scene just as New York was waking up. Ariela Langoa, a 29-year-old Dominican beauty on the rise, was found slumped inside her car on the Cross County Parkway in Mount Vernon. Her murder had everyone asking what really went down. But the loudest whispers focused on her ties to one of rap's most controversial figures, Tekashi 6ix9ine, and whether his chaos dragged her straight into danger. Ariela wasn't just another Instagram face. She was a rising star, with over 500,000 followers on IG and another 115,000 on TikTok. She had New York hooked with her wild energy, her dancing, and her modeling that kept people locked on her every post. But here's where things get real. Behind the filters and fame, Ariela was deep in New York's nightlife scene. She moved through the same dangerous spaces as rappers, hustlers, and influencers, where clout could turn deadly in seconds. She was stacking cash and brushing shoulders with drama while working at hotspots like Icon New York and Starlets. These weren't just clubs, they were playgrounds where celebs, influencers, and street heavyweights collided. A powder keg of fame, ego, and money that could explode at any moment. The night before her murder, August 16, 2025, Ariela was glowing on IG, posting stories straight from Icon, the same club where she worked her bag. Clips showed her laughing, dancing, and shining like nothing could touch her. But no one knew those would be the last happy moments she'd ever share, just hours before everything turned dark.
Bro,
Not surprised.
told on his girl, bro.
Not
6ix9ine just about to tell on anybody, huh?
That's what makes this case so chilling. On the surface, she looked carefree, but behind the glamour, a storm was already brewing, one tied directly to Tekashi 6ix9ine. Now fans, investigators, and even haters are all scrambling to connect the dots, asking how much his messy history with the feds played into the deadly twist that left Ariela gone. A no-jumper clip makes it clear, 6ix9ine has never hesitated when it comes to talking to the police.
What's your definition of a snitch? Let's start there.
A snitch is somebody, I feel like a snitch will do anything to get out of a situation. You know what I'm trying to say? Like a snitch will get faced with something and would just give up their mother, their brother, everybody, their whole camp just to be free.
Even when it comes to people he's supposed to be tight with, 6ix9ine doesn't hold back. The host's shocked reaction in that clip says it all. In the culture, that kind of move is seen as pure betrayal. And 6ix9ine himself has admitted it. His pattern of snitching isn't a one-off. It's how he always deals with law enforcement. Street voices have been blasting him for years, pointing out how quick he is to hand info to the cops. That detail hits hard when people start asking why Ariela ended up catching those bullets. Her link to Tekashi is now the centerpiece of all. The whispers, were they a couple or just close friends? Nobody agrees. Some insiders swear Ariela was 6ix9ine's girl, while others claim he called her sis, trying to frame it as a close but platonic bond. That confusion isn't random. It shows how tricky things get in 6ix9ine's world, where calling someone your girl can be just as dangerous as denying it. And in Ariela's case, that blurry line may have cost her everything. One thing is clear. The bond between Ariela and 6ix9ine went way past casual friendship. She wasn't just in the background, she starred in his music video for WAPA, alongside Angel Dior, Leonard, and Bolahan 47. That wasn't some quick cameo. Her presence lit up the screen, showing her charisma and tying her directly into 6ix9ine's music world in a way fans couldn't ignore. And that wasn't all. Back in 2023, the two popped out together at the Toga Room in New York, one of the city's biggest nightlife spots where appearances mean status. That outing showed they were comfortable enough to be seen side by side, but still careful not to let too much slip in public. With 6ix9ine, even the smallest move sparked speculation, and Ariela standing next to him spoke volumes. Here's where things get heavier, the timing. By 2025, Tekashi wasn't the same loud, reckless figure fans knew. His life was tied down under a whole new set of chains. After spending 45 days in federal custody in late 2024, he walked out on strict probation, strapped with an ankle monitor, barred from leaving the country, and forced to play by the system's rules. Then, in July 2025, things got even darker. Tekashi pleaded guilty to drug charges after a March raid on his Florida mansion uncovered MDMA, cocaine, and other statious. His sentencing was set for September.
What I fold on them?
When you took the stand, or when you
What I
testified,
fold on?
when you snitched.
Alright, so let me ask you something. If you was in that position, what you would have done?
For me, you gotta understand.
Nah, I don't
Listen,
answer the question.
I would never tell.
All right, so this is what I'm saying. If you was in that position, you would have did that, Tom.
By then, every move Tekashi made was under a microscope. Hitting New York's nightlife during that period wasn't just unlikely, it could have blown up his entire legal standing in seconds. Yet Ariella's death is now tangled up with his chaotic past and all the enemies he's built since flipping from a street-linked rapper into a federal informant. In unreleased footage, 6ix9ine explains his mindset the moment he chose to cooperate. The defensive way he argues shows how unapologetic he really is. He doesn't just admit to snitching, he doubles down, daring others to say what they would have done in his position. That attitude matters, because when you look at Ariella's murder, the bigger question becomes, did being close to him paint a target on her back? The transformation of Daniel Hernandez into Tekashi 6ix9ine, and then into a cooperating witness, is a story the world already knows. But when Ariella is placed in the middle of that chaos, it feels different. And his snitching past wasn't just old history, he was still catching heat in 2025. Just months before Ariella's death, a fake casket was delivered to his Florida home, spray-painted with the name of rival King Von. That chilling threat showed enemies hadn't forgotten, and some were still willing to send brutal warnings right to his doorstep. The conversation around Ariella's death goes way beyond her connection to 6ix9ine. It's about a web of rivalries, grudges, and motives stretching far past one relationship. Old interviews and clips make the pattern clear. Snitching wasn't some desperate act for Tekashi, it's been his go-to move every time the law came knocking. And that's why enemies don't just see him as weak, they see anyone around him as fair game. For investigators, this didn't look like a random hit in the hood. As police pieced together Ariella Lungoa's final hours, a darker, more layered story began to unfold. This wasn't mistaken identity, it was a puzzle built on street politics, revenge, and the shadow of Tekashi's choices. Now, let's break it down, because hood gossip is spilling everywhere.
And there's no, and like I said, my respect to the West Coast. You never lacking, right?
Never.
So what happened to the niggas that lack? Let's bring up Nipsey Hussle. You think he said, yo, will never come up to me because I'm... Yo, bro, it happened to the best of them.
Yes.
Hold on.
You're absolutely right.
Hold on. So what you gonna say, Nipsey? Huh?
Different theories are flying around, each one messier than the last, each one giving a different angle on why Ariella's life ended the way it did. And with 6ix9ine at the center, every rumor just gets louder. To really understand the noise, you have to hear his own twisted take on street life. In one clip, 6ix9ine breaks down his philosophy on violence, bragging that his way of surviving is smarter than the keep it real code that left so many rappers dead. His cold-blooded logic is simple. Working with the feds makes him smarter than the so-called real street figures who ended up 6 feet deep. But when it comes to Ariella's murder, the hottest theory blowing up social media, hip-hop blogs, and even international news sites says she wasn't the real target. The bullets were meant for her alleged boyfriend, known as Cartier, is painted as a suspected gang leader tied to robbery crews, run by Joe Lopi, reports say. Ariella was driving a Mercedes G-Wagon with Cartier in the passenger seat when the ambush happened. She ended up gone, but Cartier walked away untouched. Even wilder, whispers claim Ariella had helped set up Colombians for Cartier to rob, and her death was payback for that betrayal. If that's true, the whole story flips upside down. Ariella wouldn't just be a victim caught in the wrong place at the wrong time. She'd be seen as an active player in a street game that turned deadly. Police later confirmed someone was detained after the shooting, and multiple sources identified that person as Cartier himself. His history, his prior arrests, and even his shady entry into the US all fueled the theory that he was the real target of a planned hit. This angle connects straight back to 6ix9ine's infamous past with the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods, the same crew he turned on in 2019 when he testified in court and locked himself into the snitch label forever.
Hey, but what's the point though?
I'm right there. So King Von is a solid, and he got killed, right? And pulled out and put 5 in him, right? And he dead, right? So King Von died lacking.
You hurt my feelings.
No. Hear what I'm saying?
May he rest in
King
peace, man.
Von died lacking. Nipsey died lacking. Pop Smoke died lacking.
Right.
And lack?
No, you can't.
All right.
Kill or be killed. And
In his own words, 6ix9ine brags that staying alive by any means is smarter than dying, sparking outrage with his cold claim that street credibility means nothing if it gets you killed. That mindset is exactly why some believe Ariella's murder was really a shot meant for him. Rumors say her death was tied to old gang vendettas, with Ariella caught in the middle. Adding fuel to this theory was 6ix9ine's emotional Instagram tribute, calling her his sister. The intensity of his post had fans whispering that guilt was eating him alive, knowing that being close to him might have painted a target on her back. But here's where the story twists. In 2025, Tekashi was stuck on house arrest with an ankle monitor, banned from moving around freely. If he really had been in New York with Ariella, that would have been a straight probation violation. So the question is, was he physically there, or was the hit a symbolic message, wiping out someone close to him to send fear straight to his doorstep? Then comes the third theory. Shaking up social media claims that Ariella herself was working as an informant. Some say she was providing information on criminal moves around her, echoing 6ix9ine's own past as a cooperating witness. The idea that Ariella might have been tied to the feds picked up steam when people looked at 6ix9ine's own attitude towards snitching. In the clips we've seen, he flat out says, working with law enforcement isn't weakness, it's survival. And if that's how he moves, who's to say that influence didn't rub off on the people closest to him? That's why some believe Ariella may have stepped into the same dangerous lane. Even without solid proof, the streets thrive on that kind of narrative. History shows how betrayal, or even the appearance of betrayal, gets handled with ruthless street justice, and Ariella's death fits the kind of punishment handed down when someone is seen as too close to the wrong side. Adding to the suspicion, New York has been drowning in gang-related chaos. Around the same time, Ariella was killed. A Brooklyn nightclub erupted in gunfire for shooters, 42 shell casings, and confirmed gang ties.
Respect gangsters, bro. But you gonna see me, you gonna respect me.
Hold on, let me break something down to you, right?
I don't even mean to change the mood, but 6ix9ine, we all know about the perception.
The NYPD commissioner admitted that retaliation was a real fear, with Mayor Adams even sending crisis teams to calm the storm. Now, no direct link between Ariella's murder and the Brooklyn nightclub massacre has been confirmed, but the timing had people buzzing. Too many, it looked like overlapping waves of violence crashing together, with Ariella's personal ties putting her right in the crossfire. What makes her case so hard to pin down is the silence from officials. Police haven't revealed how many shots were fired, the exact sequence of events, or even basic forensic details. That blackout created the perfect storm: conspiracies, wild theories, and unverified claims flooding social media, hip-hop blogs, and street corners everywhere. So what really happened? The deeper you dig, the less clear it gets. The official story doesn't match the speculation running online. Law enforcement looks like it's scrambling to manage a high-profile case tied to one of rap's most controversial figures, while also trying to dodge the heat of massive public obsession. Adding fuel to the fire, 6ix9ine himself has broken down how street wars really play out. In one revealing clip, he explains why keeping it real only gets rappers killed, while bending the rules is what's kept him alive. It's his cold-blooded blueprint for survival, even if it means burning every bridge along the way.
I'm gonna be honest.
Alpo. We gonna get on Alpo. Yo, shout out my girl, baby. I love you. Listen, I gotta talk about it. I gotta bring it up. I'm sorry if I put. I'm about to fire Harlem up. My girl's baby father, Charlie C, is a Mac Bull of blood.
Okay, what that mean?
He's a Mac Bull of blood that Jack kill all rats. The Mac Bull Jack kill all rats.
And then comes the bombshell, the mention of Alpo Martinez, the infamous Harlem figure, showing up at 6ix9ine's baby shower before his own death. That detail shows just how messy these connections really are. The investigation into killing is now being handled by both the NYPD and Westchester County Police, who have officially labeled it a suspicious homicide. Westchester Police Chief James Luciano confirmed they believe the shooting was tied to criminal activity but refused to give specifics. That statement alone pushed the case out of the random violence category and straight into the zone of targeted attacks. But here's what's wild. No arrests, no suspects, no clear motive. As of August 18, 2025, with the entire hip-hop world watching, investigators still haven't publicly named a single person. For a case this high-profile, the silence is deafening. Are they being extra cautious? Or are they hitting walls the public doesn't know about? The circumstances only make the mystery heavier. Around 8 a.m., Ariella was found slumped inside her vehicle on the Cross County Parkway in Mount Vernon. Sources claimed she'd been shot in the head, but details like how many rounds, what kind of weapon, and the exact timeline of events remain hidden. What makes Ariella's murder even stranger is where it happened. The Cross County Parkway isn't some back road. It's a major artery connecting the Bronx to Westchester, filled with traffic and lined with cameras. For a shooting to go down, they're without clear witnesses or surveillance points to either a lightning-fast ambush or a hit, so carefully planned that the shooters knew exactly where the blind spots were. Then comes the question of 6ix9ine's movements. Despite wild speculation that he was with Ariella, the facts don't add up. In 2025, he was locked under house arrest, tracked by an ankle monitor. If he had slipped into New York, the feds would have caught it instantly. That gap between speculation and reality pokes holes in the "they were after him" theory, unless the attack was symbolic. meant to send a brutal message by targeting someone close to him. Or maybe it was straight mistaken identity, with the shooters thinking he was inside the car. Either way, it shows how dangerous it was to even be near him. And let's not forget, threats against Tekashi didn't just fade after his courtroom flip. In February 2025, a fake casket with King Von spray painted on it was dropped at his Florida mansion. The deeper you look at 6ix9ine's twisted mindset on street credibility, the clearer it becomes why enemies might aim at those around him. His final words on the Alpo Martinez situation prove just how confrontational and unapologetic he really is.
Or Harlem don't hide and be like, I wasn't at that baby shower. If I would have seen I was at that baby shower drinking rosé. I ain't gonna even lie.
Oh,
Also, let me get spicy real quick. See, my whole thing is like this, man. On some real, I ain't trying to be funny or nothing, Jim Jones, but you keep shouting Mel. You keep shouting Mel and Shotty in the mouth.
Calling out hypocrisy, exposing contradictions, and daring the hip-hop world to challenge him. That boldness may keep Tekashi trending, but it also builds a long list of enemies who would rather see him gone. Here's the real danger. When someone like 6ix9ine can't be touched directly, the people around him often become the targets. Ariella's connection to him could have placed her in the crosshairs even if he was nowhere near the scene. This kind of proxy violence, striking at associates instead of the main figure, has become a common move in street wars, especially when the main target is under heavy protection or government watch. Even hip-hop commentators have noticed it. On No Jumper, the host broke down how 6ix9ine's cooperation with the feds keeps dragging him back into the spotlight as the guy who tells. Drop your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more deep dives like this.